Oh, yeah. Went on, went off.
It went, it went,
Already on, yeah.
You got it on there?
Yes,
How come it's off here?
have lights. I'm touching it, it's not.
That's exactly what it sounded like. Yeah, because none of the mics are on here.
Call the meeting to order. Elizabeth, please call the roll.
Councilmember Archie, Councilmember Bax, Council Chairperson Perry, Councilmember Miles, Councilmember Zajac.
Please stand. O God, the Father of us all, we humbly beseech Thee, Thy wisdom and knowledge to guide and direct deliberations of this council along the path, truth, justice, and righteousness, so that what it decides for the welfare of our citizens may also rebound to Thy greater honor and glory. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have no presentations tonight. On the speakers, we have a number of people. What we do on this part, we only speak on action items. And I noticed that we have about 17 people that want to speak on, there is no agenda item 6A. What 6A is just a notification. It's not an action item. That is about the turtle, and I know there's a lot of people that want to speak about the turtle. So that part of it would be at the end. Now we're going to have comments on the turtle. It'll be on the agenda next meeting.
That's correct. It'll be an action item on the March 7th meeting.
Right?
And therefore, the 17 people who signed up to speak tonight regarding agenda, those 17 names will be moved to the good of the community section at the end of this meeting. March 6th meeting. The next meeting is, I may have misspoken, the next meeting is March 6th. Thanks for catching that.
It off. We're not going to be able to get all 17 people speaking tonight on that, so just let you all know. All right, so let's go on to, we have no public speakers on the actual action items that we have on the agenda for tonight. We have administrative updates.
Okay, so what I have for you tonight is, as I've mentioned at previous, we are closing out our 2023, and tonight what I have for you are two of our funds, Parking Operations Fund, which is, PO is the name of that, and our Train Station Fund, the AT Fund. We have unaudited, subject to change, final results for 2023. So the first slide here is our Parking Operations Fund, and as a reminder, this is our downtown parking between the ramp, the parking meters, and the various lots that we have downtown, along with some of the agreements that we have with hotels and other businesses that may be down there. So this table here breaks down our revenue figures. Again, these are unaudited, subject to change through December 31st of 2023. And I have the 2023, what we had budgeted for these line items, what we actually collected in the middle column, and then on the far right, the actual results for 2022. So you can at least get a comparison 23 to 22. And you can see the overall total revenue we had budgeted was $2,830,360. For the year 2023, we came in just under 4 million, 3,918,756. You can see the about half of that is from the parking ramp, and then the parking meters. Those two make up a majority of it, with the 2 lots that we have at 534,000, and then the various agreements at 247,000. So you can see the ramp had a significant increase from 22 to 23. The meters were down year over year, but again, that had to do with a couple meters that were taken out of the lots, the one lot on 3rd Street. So that impacted the meter revenue in 23. But all in all, it was an increase from 2022, and almost a $1 million increase from our budget. The next slide is same with the parking operations. This is the expense figures. Again, unaudited, subject to change. This is through December 31st. And similar columns, we have the budgeted amount, then we have the actual amounts for 23, and then on the far right, the 2022 actuals for comparison. The personnel costs, those are our labor costs, the individuals that work down there. Our operating costs are the day-to-day expenses, our contractual agreements that we have for software providers, the credit card fees that we have, that we incur, the banking fees that we incur for the gates, and then the benefit costs. Those are the insurances, the medical, dental, our social security costs in the benefit cost line. So we had a budget figure of about $569,000. For 2023, we came in under that at about $514,596. And comparing that to 2022, slightly increased from $508,000. However, the important line item here is the bottom line. So essentially, the net income that is incurred in the parking operations fund gets transferred to the general fund as revenue, and it assists in covering costs in the general fund budget. So the net transfer to the A fund is our general fund. A is just the number, or the name of the fund that we give it, but the general fund is the A. So we had a budget figure of $2,261,669 as the net income, and it ended up for 2023 being $3,404,160, about a little less than $1.2 million increase over expectations. And you can see the comparison to 2022, where we just slightly broke over the $3 million threshold. So a positive news here, about a $1.2 million increase over what we had anticipated from a net income perspective for parking. And as I said, this $3.4 million figure will be transferred to the general fund to assist in those costs incurred. And then my last slide here, this is the train station fund. So this is a relatively new fund. This is the AT fund that is the train station off of Main Street there. And similar to the previous slides, these figures here are unaudited, subject to change. This is through December 31st. And we have the 2023 budget figure, and then what the actual revenue and costs were for the year in the middle, and on the far right, a comparison to 2022. So you can see our budgeted revenue was up slightly for the 2 lease agreements that we have there, And then you can see the expenses that we've incurred. Again, personnel, operating, and employee benefits, similar to the parking. Personnel are the staff that are assigned to the train station. Operating costs are utilities, other maintenance costs that are incurred. And then the benefit costs are the insurances and Social Security. So you can see we had a $409,577 budgeted expense figure for the year. Ended up coming in under that figure at about $394,000, up slightly from 2022, which was $388,000. But again, the positive news here is you can see the revenue here is less than the expenses. So essentially, the general fund has to take on those additional costs to cover that net loss. So we had budgeted a net loss for this train station of $166,842. The actual loss there was $129,792, compared to essentially almost to the dollar, the same amount in 2022, $129,400. So the positive here is that what we had budgeted being the net loss, it ended up coming in less than that, by about $37,000. So that excess that is needed to balance this fund comes from the general fund. So that's why you see total transfer from the A fund. And that's all I have. But as we continue to close out, as I mentioned, we still have the tourism fund that I can likely provide at the next meeting, and the general fund is the big one. And by the end of this month, we'll be able to close out some additional revenue line items that we wait until the end of February to do. And then I would say, if not the last meeting in March, the first meeting in April, I'll be able to give you a good number where we're at for the general fund. But we're making progress. It takes time, but we are seeing some positive results early on in this process. Yes, yes.
So what can we do to increase revenues in that space in terms of marketing?
Well, there's if you can bring in additional tenants that can bring in additional revenue, or other areas, there's, right now we have the 2 tenants there that pay us, that have the agreements that are basically based off of their square footage. So the entire building is not leased out yet, but the way that the 2 agreements that are currently there are agreed upon, that they pay us back based off of their percentage of square footage that they are overseeing.
How much space is left?
I don't have that figure in front of me. We can provide that to you. I don't have that figure in front of me.
Cool. Okay. Any other questions?
Any committee announcements or events we have?
Tomorrow, there is a community meeting at Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center from 2 to 4 p.m. It is open to everyone in the public, really, to come in and have a conversation about the hospital and really what needs to happen to improve and help the quality of care that our residents are getting. So everyone's invited, 2 o'clock, Niagara Falls Memorial Auditorium.
Anything else? Okay. All right, we'll move on to section 4, review and adopt the we've had a few days to look at the agenda. We've had it emailed to us, and we've had the opportunity to review it all. Are there any modifications or any additions? Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
Motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Second, okay. Can I have a roll call vote to accept the agenda?
Councilmember Archie?
Yes.
Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Okay, the agenda is accepted as is. All right, review of the minutes. We had corrections from the January 10th, 2024. It was resubmitted for corrections. Do we have any further additions? Has everybody reviewed those? Is it acceptable to everybody? Okay, so it's accepted as written. And any objections to that? Nope. Okay, let it be accepted. Meeting from January 24th, 2024. Are there any corrections or objections to those minutes? Okay, let them be final by unanimous decision. Okay. All right. Moving on to the informational items from our city clerk. Okay.
Item A
Has been received and filed in the clerk's office. Okay. All right, so Historic Preservation Commission's recommendation that the City Council and the Mayor approve designating the building at 25 Boulevard in the city of Niagara Falls, New York, known as the Turtle, as a historic structure under sections 1335.05-1A and 1335.05-2 IK of Chapter 1335 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Niagara Falls, New York, and this has been received and filed.
To our agenda at the next meeting for an action item. So people will be able to comment on it as an action item at that time. All right. Moving on to items for action for the City Council. Action item number 1. Do I have a motion?
Yep. Mr. Chairman, I move that council vote to approve and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with 360 Land Survey, DPC, to perform professional surveying work for the city, all as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated February 15th, 2024.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any questions? Comments? Okay, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Archie?
Yes.
Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Okay, action item number 2. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I vote that council vote to approve change order number 1 in the contract with Mark Cerrone, Inc., which the council approved on May 24th, 2023, without cost and as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated February 15th, 2024.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Okay, any questions? Comments? Okay, Elizabeth, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Archie?
Yes.
Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry?
Yes,
5 yeas.
motion is adopted. Action item number 3. Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I vote that council approve the reorganization of the law department as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation letter dated February 15th, 2024.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions? Comments? Elizabeth, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Archie?
Yes.
Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry?
Yes,
5 yeas.
motion's approved. Action item number 4. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I vote that council vote to approve and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Patterson Stevens, Inc., relative to city pool rehabilitations as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated February 15th, 2024.
Okay, do I have a second?
Question.
Yes?
I have a question.
Okay. Do I have any questions?
Yeah. Is the work that's going to be done on the pools, is it including the splash pad at D'Amelio Park Center Court? It was dug up sometime last year. I know it's been sitting for a while.
That's already been approved through council action.
The splash pad for D'Amelio Park?
The D'Amelio Park splash pad.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
That's already been.
Yeah, I asked and I didn't get a response. So, okay.
Is
Thank you.
there a timeline that's set for D'Amelio Park because it's still dug up?
I don't have that information.
Oh, okay.
Who did we get that from?
This is, we talked to the administration for an update.
Other questions? No? Okay, roll call.
Nope, we need a second.
We need a second.
I think,
The first issue is to get a second, and then questions.
I can second it now. I'm clear now.
okay.
Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry,
Yes.
5 yeas.
Okay. Resolution number 5.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the council vote to approve resolution relative to polling places for the city school district budget, vote, and Board of Education election.
In a second.
Second.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Elizabeth?
Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry,
Yes.
5 yeas.
Okay. Now we will conclude the action items. We'll move to the public speakers for the good of the community. Now, we may have to, for the time constraint, I don't know if you have more than just what's on there?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, so we might have to cut some of those short,
Yes, sir.
because you can't go on for 4 hours.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we should suggest we state that to the people, like if they pull back a little bit on the comments, so they can come back on the 6th, those that are speaking on the turtle, so that people that are here, that showed up and signed up, get a chance to voice what they need to voice.
Okay. All right, we'll start with we'll go with the public speaker, the public speaker for the community.
All right, just so I have clarity, Council Chairperson, we are starting with the speakers for the good of the community. That is what you're saying? Okay. Yeah, these are all for the good of the community. So, all right. So our first speaker we have here is Mark Marino.
Excuse me. First of all, I'm not a public speaker. I'm a little nervous. I hope I don't say anything that insults anybody here, but for the good of the community, I'd like to bring up the Little Italy arches on Pine Avenue, and that I think it's about time those arches come down, because Pine Avenue has not been Little Italy for quite some time. Those arches were put up probably 80 or 90 years too late. number one. And number two, while I wish all the businesses on Pine Avenue be prosperous and make a profit, there's nothing about Pine Avenue that's Little Italy anymore, and quite frankly, it's an insult to the Italians in the city. The Como restaurant, the last biggest business on Pine Avenue, closed down a few months back, and that was really the mainstay of Pine Avenue for quite some time. So I really think it's time the arches come down. It seems things, present council not included, but it seems things in this city are done over the years, and they're done 20, 30 years behind the times. I mean, that's why this city is in like a mess in certain areas that it's in. And one of the other issues I had is with these bump outs they're putting in streets. If you go out west and look at cities out west where they put those bump outs in 10, 15 years ago, and even on the East Coast, they've ripped them all out. And what's Niagara Falls do? 20 years after the fact, they're installing new bump outs. They do nothing but create a hazard, hinder traffic, hinder snow plows, and you know, the city's behind the times with everything they do. And that'll do it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kobe Rickard.
I would like to present the Native American Youth Club from Niagara Falls High School. They like to present all the members with a packet first before he speaks. Is that okay? Just do it.
One moment, please. It's not a just do it sort of situation. I would have to get that approved by our corporation council. If you'd like to hand me those packets, we can do that. Thank you so very much. Thank you kindly. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
My name is Kobe Rickard. I'm a resident of Niagara Falls and a student at Niagara Falls High School, and I'm part of the Native American Youth Club like before. I am of the Tuscarora Nation, Turtle Clan of the Tuscarora Nation. And I feel the need to speak on behalf of saving the turtle and giving it landmark status, because the destruction of the turtle, which has been a significant site for many Native communities, would further perpetuate the historical pattern of cultural genocide faced by Indigenous communities. The turtle, in its beginning time, served as a cultural connection for natives in the city of Niagara Falls and natives from the surrounding reservations. The destruction of the turtle would not only erase Indigenous history, but also contribute to the challenge that many Native communities face in preserving their cultural traditions and history. This act would further diminish Native culture in Niagara Falls and highlight the erasure that continues to taunt many Native communities. Personally, as a young Native American myself, who did not grow up on a reservation or get taught very much to me about my culture, the turtle can serve as a tangible object that shows a connection to my culture that I have not found elsewhere in the city of Niagara Falls. If the turtle would be destroyed, this connection would be lost forever to myself and the future generations to come. We have the chance to bring that beacon of hope, culture, tradition, and history back to life if we just put in the effort and support making the landmark designation happen for an amazing building like the Turtle. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Connor Ground.
Hello, good evening. My My name is Connor Brown. My father is Mohawk from the Six Nations. My clan is Bear, and I go to Niagara Falls High School, and I'm part of the Native American Youth Club. I'm here to speak in support of landmarking the turtle. The turtle not only is a beautiful piece of indigenous agriculture, texture, booyah, but is also a deep meaning behind the building, a building and its history. It's a sentimental value to our people, and it's worth quite a lot, even though it may just look like a turtle, and well, it's old. It holds great weight and memories within it. It's quite significant in value, even people from different backgrounds and cultures can recognize that. And taking that away would be no different than continuing on colonizing and erasing the culture and memories of the indigenous people. We're proud of the turtle, although you may view it as a space that can be turned into something more. We view it as a space that is perfect just the way it is. Taking down the turtle can not only destroy the memories to a certain extent, but also will bury them extremely much. And it also will remove the soul that was once in it. The ceremonies and events that have happened there. To you, that may not be history, but to us, it really is. It is a placeholder for me and my people, or our people, to take in our beliefs and culture. Because not too long ago, we were not even allowed to dance and sing, as it was forbidden, not even 50 plus years ago. I believe a foundation can be made to save the turtle. I also believe due to genocide performed by Canada and America against many Native American children who were lost and were forced and lose their culture, is still felt today in my generation. By allowing destruction of the turtle, not giving a landmark status, we as a city are ignoring the fact that we are once again erasing, forcing, and losing Native American culture and in turn its people. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Addison Moore.
Hello, I am Addison Moore. I'm a resident of Niagara Falls, New York, and a member of the Native American Youth Club at Niagara Falls High School as an ally. I believe that the Turtle could be such a welcoming and inviting building to touch on the culture of the people we often forget about, Native Americans. We only ever learn about what Americans did to Natives, which is important, but what about the things Native Americans did for non-Natives and continue to do in our communities? From the rich culture to the intricate beadwork to their indigenous foods. I feel that the Turtle is a great way to touch on these things and bring a place of diversity and community that is missing in the city of Niagara Falls. As the future of this community, I feel having the Turtle be landmarked and brought back to life would allow natives, visitors, and tourists to be able to learn about the rich culture of Native Americans who were the original inhabitants of this land. I feel that if we have the Turtle to share with everyone, it can help with having Native Americans feel seen and heard, and it can bring a new diverse culture to people who haven't really seen things like this. I hope you all truly take the time to consider landmarking the Turtle for the betterment of this city and for the young people who want to make this place their forever home. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Resume. Thank you. Our next speaker is Emma Santos.
My name is Emma Santos. I'm a resident of Niagara Falls, New York, and a part of the Native American Youth Club at Niagara Falls High School. I'm a part of the Mohawk Nation and Turtle Clan. Saving the turtle would give Niagara Falls a huge upgrade and bring more tourists, which is what the owner is supposedly focused on, even though he is sitting on properties and letting the community go to waste. The first people in Niagara Falls were Native Americans. The people who helped shape this area were Native Americans. So why are you letting a wealthy, non-Native society take one more step into eliminating Native American culture? All throughout our history, non-Native people have been erasing Native American culture left and right. So why are we as a community not trying to stop that? For what, another hotel? There are at least 13 hotels in the same area near the turtle, so why is there a need for another one, especially when the ones we already have don't sell out, and creating a new hotel would take 100 times more effort than restoring the turtle. Younger natives like me and schoolmates have little to no knowledge of our heritage since our grandparents and great-grandparents were sent to residential schools, the last residential school in North America closing in 1996. This also leads to the generation before us not knowing anything about their ancestry and using the turtle to learn. Boarding schools have had a lasting effect into today and forces natives that live in the city to not be able to learn about their heritage unless they find books or museums to learn from. The turtle would be that outlet for natives to connect to their ancestors and learn about their past. An argument against keeping the turtle would be to look at it from a quote-unquote business perspective. But what business aspect? Is it to adding another hotel to the minimum of 13 we already have just downtown near the turtle? Using a quick SWOT analysis, it is very clear that saving the turtle would be better than building another unnecessary hotel. The countless number of people I talk to and myself see no strength or opportunities in building another hotel. However, saving the turtle would give Niagara Falls a lifetime opportunity to gain hundreds, if not thousands, more tourists all year round, since there is no other building that is shaped like that, and has the significance behind it like the turtle has. You can say there's a weakness on saving the turtle on how much it would cost, but it would cost more to knock it down, get the land re-inspected, to build something higher than 2 stories, than to build the hotel. The turtle goes into a deeper aspect than just a business matter. Natives are connected to the building by our creation story, and much more. There are many articles going around by uneducated people who clearly didn't care enough to do their research, so they're just full of lies. The significance goes much deeper than just the turtle. There are less than 50 Native American architects, which we were extremely lucky to have one come to the falls and create a building that connects to natives all around the world to represent us. And regarding to the not being a quote, not a traditional Native American architectural style, natives don't create things with sticks and mud anymore, like what some ignorant people use against saving the turtle. There are multiple people trying to save the turtles and have plans and ready to raise money for it. The owner refuses to let it happen. In response to the anonymous person, natives would step up if non-native people didn't constantly push them down and the media manipulating everything that is happening. I stand here asking the City of Niagara Falls to seriously consider the positive impact that landmarking the turtle can have on young people. Young natives need the turtle to reconnect with their heritage and ancestors. Native culture is being eliminated little by little, but with the reawakening of the turtle, it can help stop that, plus be a benefit for Niagara Falls by bringing more tourists and natives here. Again, I express my support for landmarking the turtle, and I hope you do the same.
Our next speaker is Michaela Doreen.
Sego. My name is Michaela Doreen. My native name is Yostonste. My tribe is Mohawk of Turtle Clan. I am a resident of Niagara Falls, New York, and I am a part of the Native American Youth Club of Niagara Falls High School. And while in my years of living I haven't been able to experience the turtle in all its beauty, I did want to express why I think we should invest in having it come back and begin this process with the landmark status. The turtle held many memories lots of my people can't get back, and to take it away and have someone with so much power and money let it sit there and rot away is disheartening and devastating to see. It portrays an idea that we don't belong. It becomes another thing that wipes out the contributions of our people. Native Americans were the first here, and now our history of our culture is disappearing. I know having it back would be such a vital thing for us Native Americans because it gives us purpose. The turtle was used by natives and non-natives as well. This was an opportunity for people to learn about the native culture in a positive manner and give an opportunity for natives to display their culture proudly. Niagara Falls is one of the most popular tourist attractions in New York State, and everyone comes here to see the beauty of the city. So why not give them something beautiful to see? Native culture. Niagara Falls should want to showcase diversity to bring more people in from all backgrounds. Having the turtle back could have more people connect to their history that has been erased and whitewashed for years. And it would educate those who are not aware of the contributions made by the original natives of this area. The turtle had a unique cultural and architectural significance in Niagara Falls, and everyone loved it. I believe that being such a small minority group, we need to be able to have something to express ourselves and the pride we have as natives. Having yet another thing stripped from us in our culture breaks this world apart. We have started, as a city, to bring the rich culture of this area back to life, starting with the Underground Railroad Heritage Center, and being Afro-Indigenous myself, to have both of my cultures in the same city would be an amazing opportunity for those like myself. What many non-minority people do not see is that being in school, I've never once had someone come up to me and ask if I'm Native. Instead, they just assume I'm black and white, which whitewashes me. And for many years, it made me question my identity and if I was actually even Native anymore. But if I had somewhere to interact with my community and others of my heritage, I could learn more things about myself and my people. I think this new generation of natives would enjoy having somewhere like this to see for themselves and show their children later in life, including me. It would benefit the city of Niagara Falls and help the diversity of people grow. I plead with the council to consider landmarking the turtle and saving this beautiful and strong architectural representation of the cultural richness in this area. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Amelia Jacob.
Hello, my name is Amelia Jacob. I belong to the Cayuga Nation and the Turtle Clan. I'm a student at Niagara Falls High School and a member of the Native American Youth Club. I'm here today to share my immense support to landmark the turtle, which I know, even in my adolescence, had an extreme impact on the indigenous culture awareness of this city and the overall positive environment in which the turtle used to be. The building's current state is unacceptable when taking into consideration the gorgeous architecture and the greatly positive effect the building had on the community. As a young Native American growing up in a city grounded on ignorance, it was extremely easy to feel invisible and unseen. I and many other Native children growing up in such an illiterate area often feel that labeling ourselves as just white was necessary to provide ourselves with the security of fitting in. Native Americans make up only 1% of the population in Niagara Falls, which, contrary to the uninformed opinions of our community, is because of the lack of recognition for the culture in our city. Cultural genocide is not inevitable, and the city is completely capable of restoring indigenous culture, just as it is capable of accommodating for other cultures. The adaptation of cultural awareness for African Americans has been fundamentally significant, which leads one to wonder why our city has not put forth any effort into eliminating the ignorance of Native American culture and society. Landmarking the turtle will, at the very least, allow Native Americans and non-natives that have had the fortune of visiting this amazing monument feel heard and keep the culture present in the city, even if the building is not being actively used. I do not see any reason to let this building be eventually converted into yet another unnecessary hotel, when instead the building can be preserved and possibly restored back to its original positive environment. Although preservation does not guarantee restoration, I believe that this request cannot have any negative impact on anyone but the current owner of the building, who has not done a single thing with it the entirety he has owned it. Letting the building waste away is not going to benefit anyone, considering the tremendously noticeable unsightly exterior that it has become after accumulating vegetation, peeling paint, and deterioration. Enabling the landmark will most likely cause the building to be more carefully kept at the very least. As an Indigenous teenager who has intention to raise my own family in or around Niagara Falls, and on behalf of other Native children with this mindset and future generations of Niagara County of Native Americans, I strongly suggest and support the landmarking of the turtle to better our community. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jessica Forgate Forgeet. I'm sorry if I've said your name incorrectly.
Hello. My name is Jessica Frigette. It's okay. I'm from the Six Nations Reservation belonging to the Cayuga Nation of Bear Clan. I've been a resident of Niagara Falls my whole life. I'm 42, okay? After college, I made a conscientious effort to move back to this area to help improve this community and raise my family here. One thing I valued and remembered the most from my childhood here in Niagara Falls was attending events at the Turtle. In the early 90s, my cousins and I would run around at the Turtle during events, eating food, looking at artwork made by people who looked like me, hearing elders speak about the good days, and so much more. As a city Indian, I grew up not knowing where I really belonged in this city. The Turtle gave me that connection I needed. Now, as an educator here in Niagara Falls at the high school, I see so many Native students like the ones that came here with me today who prepared, researched, and dedicated their after-school time to be here tonight, feel and experience that same loneliness, invisibility, and disconnection to their ancestors and Native community that I experienced as a young person in Niagara Falls decades ago. I started the Native American Youth Club at Niagara Falls High School in the hopes of getting not only Native students, but all students more involved and educated on the rich Native culture that is original to this area. Having the Turtle become a landmark designation and one day brought back to its glory would be such a powerful story to have these students tell their own children one day. As we all know, the decades since Niagara Falls redevelopment purchased over 140 acres of property and land in Niagara Falls, they have chosen to neglect and allow the deterioration of the Turtle. Watching it become the shell of what it once was these past few decades has been heartbreaking. Seeing my own children now struggle with their identity as a Native person in the city, it has motivated me even more so to get something like the Turtle up and running for not only them, but my grandchildren and their children for years to come. We as a city have to do better. These students stood before you with all the courage and pride for Native culture and preservation. Others spent their time helping each of us during club with research and discussion on ideas on behalf of the landmark designation for the Turtle because they care what happens to the city more than many adults think. That is not an easy task for young people today. Give these students and their peers something to actually be proud about the city. No hotel or parking lot or yet another abandoned building will ever be able to do that. Let us one day stand in the middle of that Turtle and say, we helped do this. Let us and the future generations honor and value all cultures and be proud the city of Niagara Falls chose to stand for something. Nyaweh.
Our next speaker is it Connor? I'm sorry, I can't read the penmanship, and I don't want to miss anybody. Okay. Our next speaker would be Cherish Bells.
Hi, all. Cherish Beals, Niagara Falls, New York. There's a lot of questions that are being asked regarding the efforts to reawaken the Turtle. What's the plan when the landmark status is granted? We are so fortunate to have on this committee to reawaken the Turtle experts like Carl Skopinski, who is here tonight, who was integrally involved in the Buffalo Central Terminal project. Thanks to the efforts of that group, and because landmark status was granted for that building, $5 million in grant money was used to stabilize the building and work towards finding a developer. They have found 3 developers, actually, and it was just announced that $300 million from those developers is being put towards restoring that building and returning it to the community. Carl is bringing his knowledge from those efforts to our group to reawaken the Turtle and using that as a template. We do have some great plans ahead and some great experts on board. We're fortunate to have the expertise of Preservation Buffalo Niagara, the premier organization in this region for restoring and saving the history tied to our old buildings. We have Tim Johnson, a former Turtle employee who went on to work at the Smithsonian National Museum of American Indians. He's also serving and bringing his expertise to this effort. We have Michael Martin and Sean Wilson, directors and board members for the Native American Community Services. They support over 17 counties and are also serving on the committee. We have Elizabeth Adams, an expert on curating Native American and First People, indigenous folks, serving on this committee. All these experts are volunteering their time and their talents to the process ahead of us that's going to be required to reawaken the turtle. We're all dedicated to these efforts. Another question being asked, will granting landmarking status take away the rights of the previous or of the current owners? To answer this question, context is important. The owner has made it clear that their goal is not to reawaken the turtle. Instead, they've neglected even basic maintenance, such as cleaning the gutters. They literally whitewashed the building and they even removed the tail. Due to their poor stewardship and profit-driven mindset, a community asset has sat dormant and neglected for 30 years. Let's not forget that in 1977, the turtle construction was made possible when it received a $5.9 million grant from the U.S. Commerce Department's Economic Development Administration. The owner's lack of respect for what taxpayer dollars funded, including their efforts to obtain permission to demolish the building in order to build a multi-story hotel, which, by the way, would not comply with the city's comprehensive plan or current zoning ordinances, makes it clear that the goal is not to take away their rights, but instead to enforce the community's rights. The right to require a building owner to maintain a historic, spiritual, and cultural asset to the local community instead of the demo by neglect approach that they've taken. We're not saying that they shouldn't be compensated if and when the sale of the property is accomplished. They're a developer, and we understand that's their business. They should be able to walk away with some profit in their pocket, and the building can be returned to its original purpose. Everyone can come out a winner if we can work together to accomplish these mutually compatible goals. Another question, do Native Americans even care? I think tonight it's clear that that's a false narrative, and it keeps being repeated. And the statement that a financially viable Native American interest has not been raised, I think it's clear, as you can see tonight, that is an absolutely false narrative. Regarding the financially viable qualifier, the owner has been asked for a selling price multiple times, including in 2016 when they gave a tour to local Native Americans and representatives from the Smithsonian National Museum of the American Indian, which, by the way, that museum, that Smithsonian, offers programming and an auditorium based on our very own turtle here. One potential outcome of granting landmark status is one day being able to offer tourists and local community members a Smithsonian-affiliated Native American Center for the Living Arts. Can you imagine that? If landmark status is not granted, allowing the building neglect to continue, we'll never know if that possibility could be achieved. Is the building even eligible for landmarking status? Yes, it is. The SHPO and obviously the unanimous recommendation from the experts at the Historic Preservation Committee confirm that. Will taxpayers have to foot the bill? We hope not. We've lost historic buildings like the Adams Power Plant, where Tesla and Westinghouse first generated and transmitted AC power over any long distance. Community members fought to save that. They were unsuccessful because of one man. His name was Robert Moses.
Thank you, Chair.
Let's learn from history, and please, let's not repeat it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Brandon Kennedy.
Hello, just as I'm getting started, I'd like to say congratulations to the new city council members and thank you for your time tonight. I'm Brandon Kennedy, and as the lead preservationist and architectural historian for Preservation Buffalo Niagara, I stand before you today to advocate for the landmark designation of the Turtle Building on Rainbow Boulevard. This building is not just a structure, it is a testament to our city's rich cultural tapestry, Niagara Falls' collective history, and the city's potential for future revitalization. Preservation is really just an important piece in the revitalization puzzle. It drives tax dollars in, it creates jobs, and it builds local wealth, building and sustaining the local economy. Now, I have followed the media's portrayal, both on social media and in the press, of the landmark initiative, and tonight I would like to address a few pieces of misinformation that I keep seeing repeated. One, there's no plan for the building. The absence of a current plan should not be a barrier to landmarking. Landmark status is often the catalyst needed to attract investment and development. I ask you to take a step back and take a look at the bigger picture. The local landmark is part of the plan. First, we landmark the turtle, then we apply for state and national registry, and along with that, we'll gain access to historical tax credits. Historic tax credits are the best incentive for future development or redevelopment. Once we have those tax credits, we can find our future developers and private investors. And as mentioned earlier today, the Buffalo Central Terminal, recent $300 million investment, is a prime example of how landmarking can proceed and facilitate significant development. 2, the city doesn't own the building. How can they landmark it? Landmarking is not contingent upon city ownership. According to the Niagara Falls Preservation Ordinance, city ownership of a building is not a prerequisite for its designation as a landmark. The majority of landmarks are in fact privately owned and maintained, demonstrating that private stewardship and public recognition can coexist to preserve our heritage. 3, the owner doesn't want it to be landmarked, so it shouldn't be. The current state of neglect by the owner, especially in such a prominent location near Niagara Falls State Park, is precisely why the preservation action is necessary. On an annual basis, millions of people pass by the turtle as it continues to decay and it falls into a state of disrepair. Somebody needs to be held accountable for this. Our built environment becomes the identity of the city. It changes from private ownership to civic identity as a building ages. Landmarking acknowledges this and protects our shared identity. 4, it's not 50 years old, so it does not qualify as a landmark. The 50-year guideline set by the State Historic Preservation Office is not an absolute rule. It is not written in stone, but rather it is a suggestion. The turtle's historical and cultural significance is recognized by the Preservation League of New York State, the Niagara Falls Preservation Commission, Preservation Buffalo Niagara, and the Haudenosaunee community, affirming that its value is not solely determined by age. Also, this is a local landmark subjected to the preservation regulations of Niagara Falls. The 50-year guideline that has been discussed applies to the state and national register of historic places. 5, landmarking could get in the way of progress. Niagara Falls' history of demolition has taught us the value of what we lost. Landmarking is a tool to prevent further loss to promote adaptive reuse, which is often more feasible and cost-effective than new construction. Once we secure the landmark status, we will apply for the state and national register and gain access to those historical tax credits. If we dream a little more, the turtle has a future that pays taxes, provides city services, and breathes more life into this community. Also, number 6, this doesn't qualify for local landmarking. The turtle building meets 4 out of the 5 criteria for landmark eligibility outlined in the preservation regulations. And before my time is up, I would like to add this. It is crucial to emphasize the importance of strictly adhering to the established criteria during the council's decision-making process. Any deviation or the introduction of arbitrary standards could lead to legal repercussions. The state Supreme Court has already established a precedent with the cases involving 2 Frank Lloyd Wright designed houses, the William Heath House and the Walter Davidson House. While Preservation Buffalo Niagara is not insinuating or suggesting a lawsuit, it is vital, particularly for the new council members, to understand the legal implications in their decision making.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you for your time and consideration.
Our next speaker is Jordan Smith.
Hello, neighbors. So my name is Jordan Smith. I reside on the Tuscarora Indian Reservation. I'm a longtime community member of Niagara Falls. I went to just about every high school out here growing up. But I also got the knowledge and the go-ahead and the, I guess, the direction that made me become the person I am today because of that building down there. It's not just me that that building has affected. There are, you know, aunts, uncles, grandparents who have all passed on now, and their grandchildren are still hearing stories about this beautiful building here. And I keep hearing all of the talk about, you know, the lack of keeping it up and the plants that are growing on top of it. And it just reminds me that this creation story is starting again, because this earth starts on the back of a turtle. And all we're doing is waking her up because we need to take care of her again. Now, the man who designed that building and got it going, his relatives are here tonight. So again, we show that generational upon generational great-grandkids who are connected to this building without ever really having stepped foot in that building. The last time I was in there is when Walenda had his beautiful, glorious walk across the cataract. And we got down here and we did this awesome, awesome dance performance. We shared cultural songs and dances right there at the Turtle, right where we should be doing it. Now, we got the opportunity to go in there, and all of us that grew up there, some of them are here today, we were in disbelief because we could see the faded out spots in display cases where beautiful pieces of artwork were. And we could literally visualize those pieces of ancient beadwork, those artifacts that were in there. It's not just a museum. It wasn't just a center of the living arts. It was a theater. It was a restaurant. It was a gift shop. You could do workshops there. Anything you could think of, you could do right in that building, and it all derived around our Ongwe-Hongwe, our Haudenosaunee communities. The knowledge that we have passed down from generation to generation inside places just like that. Now, we got to give these kids the opportunity. I like that they come up here. We should be giving them the real big round of applause because they're up here fighting not only for their opportunity, but they've said it themselves. It's for their children, it's for their grandchildren, it's for those generations. So already, these young kids realize it's not about us today. It's about what we can do today so that way our coming generations can enjoy what we have here on this earth. People are going to come to this area regardless, whether that building stays there, whether it gets historical status because of that beautiful thunder and waters. But we have the opportunity to let everybody know how connected this place still is, because for thousands and thousands of years, people have flocked to this place, to this cataract city, because of that thunder and waters, because of the natural beauty and the power this area has. And I think that's what brought all of us here, and that's why we still live here today. So I don't want to take up everybody's time tonight. That's all I have. I really appreciate you for letting me speak, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Yawa.
Our next speaker is Emily Harrison.
Good evening. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Municipal Shelter of Niagara Falls, my current place of employment. I'm here to bring some correction to some of the misleadings and mistruths that have been displayed regarding our shelter. With me, I have a couple of personal statements that were written by West Seneca DCO and North Tonawanda DCO. I have both of their permissions since they were unfortunately able to come today. The first statement I'm going to read is from West Seneca DCO, Sean Cudahy, and to which he wrote, "To whom it may concern, I work for the town of West Seneca as the dog control officer. I first met Kelly Swaggle, aka the Pit Chick, in November of 2022. The Erie County Health Department had me collect a dog from a West Seneca residence that was said to be dangerous and had bitten its owner. It was to be euthanized by their request. I quickly realized this dog was in an abused state and felt it not to be aggressive at all. The SPCA refused her because of the allegations, but I was given a list of rescues who may be able to help. After reaching out to many rescues to which I could find no help, Kelly came to my facility to meet Missy. Within minutes, Kelly came to the same conclusion and agreed to bring Missy to her rescue for training and possible rehoming. Long story short, Missy found a new home and a wonderful family to live with. I have again turned to Kelly for help, and she always takes time out to do what she can. Currently, she has another dog which came from my facility. I have full trust in all her capabilities as an astute, devoted, and informed caretaker of animals. Also, it has come to my attention that limited access to potential dog owners to her kennel has become an issue. At no time are non-employees allowed in my kennel due to liability issues. If a potential dog adopter would like to see a dog, we have other areas where they can meet. I'm in full agreement with this method. If you have any questions or concerns, please call me, and he provided his phone number. The second statement I have is from North Tonawanda Dog Control, Eric Salisbury. Niagara Falls City Council. I am the dog control officer for the city of North Tonawanda and have been since 2018. I'm also the past senior cruelty investigator for Niagara County. I also work for the town of Niagara Police and the town of Wheatfield Police Constables, where I hold the position of lieutenant. I'm writing regarding the ongoing controversy and alleged allegations that Janine Gallo and others are stating regarding Kelly Swagel and the Pit Chick business, who currently has the Niagara Falls contract for dogs. Having been involved with the Niagara Falls contract with the Niagara SPCA for years, I am well aware what is needed to satisfactorily handle the Falls contract. When I heard the SPCA was giving up the contract, I too had meetings with the mayor of Niagara Falls to see if I could help in any way with their kennel situation. I was considering opening a kennel myself so that the dogs of Niagara Falls had a home. I wanted to do it for the animals, not for the money. After a couple meetings, I heard that Kelly was also having meetings with the city. I did not personally know Kelly at this point, but I had heard good things about her and her passion for animals. At that time, I decided to not get a business and to let Kelly move forward without competition to get the contract because of the passions he has for animals as well. About a month after Kelly got the contract, I asked if I could come see her place, and she welcomed me there with open arms. She gave me a complete tour, and I hit her with a lot of questions. I was very impressed with her knowledge of animals and the compassion she showed. I spent a good hour that day and left knowing the animals were in good hands. I have been back a couple more times, and every time impressed me more. I have actually had to contact Kelly for a couple different situations. I have ran into in North Tonawanda, and she was always straight up with me and always willing to help. I believe these allegations regarding her business and her are untrue and unnecessary. If Janine is so concerned with Kelly and how her business is being run, why is she not being called on her anonymously found and how her business is being run, why is she not asking about her other municipal contracts? Why just Niagara Falls? And why hasn't any agency that has been called on her anonymously found any violations? The stress caused by false allegations not only affects the workers, but it affects the animals as well. In my opinion, it's time these allegations end unless Janine or anyone else can come up with solid proof to go with their allegations. I feel this is defamation of character going on here, and if it were me, I would be absolutely taking it up with an attorney about it. It's the animals that matter here, not someone's feelings or a contract someone is trying to get. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sean Wilson.
Hi, good evening. Sean Wilson. I am Mohawk Turtle Clan, enrolled from Six Nations, and I live in Buffalo. So I would have been about 3 years old when the Turtle opened, and it closed when I was a teenager. I remember running through there when they would have the events. There was these little brown, they were huge wooden steps with the carpet on it, and there was kind of like this little balcony, and they could throw the candy down, and we'd all go running for it. We had a lot of good time. So I grew up in the projects in the city of Buffalo. So the Turtle was something for us to look at and be proud of. So one of the things I'm restoring the turtle or saving the turtle, in our culture we're taught to look after the 7 generations. So much of our culture has been ripped from our ancestors in the boarding schools. So the knowledge that we're soaking in now, we're kind of hitting the brakes. And I was so glad to see the youth up here speaking. Most of them have never stepped foot in the Turtle. So the way we look at it, I consider myself like an uncle. I'm not in the elders category, but we have to listen to our elders in this community and save the Turtle for our next generations. That's so important to us. Many of them that came up here and spoke to you have never stepped foot in that building. So just think of that. It's time to reawaken the Turtle. And NACS is going to be having a community meeting this Saturday on it for the indigenous community, just to come out and share their stories. We need to come together and hear from our elders, just to hear what that turtle was. The youth need to hear it. So when we come back in March for your vote, just think of that. Think of the youth. Think of all the teenagers and the high schoolers that just came out here and spilled their guts on how they want to save this building. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Allie Dagan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Allie Spunger-Dagan, and I work for the Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Center and the Niagara Falls National Heritage Area. Many of you may be familiar with many of our projects, and I want to speak on the Underground Railroad Heritage Center as it relates to what we're talking about here with reimagining, reawakening the turtle. The Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Center, before we opened, there was a lot of concern we wouldn't open. There was a lot of non-believers out there, and we did open our doors in 2018, and we're coming up on our 6th year just in this May, and we are a testament to believing in the possibilities of our community, to bring our stories to a place for the public so that they can experience those stories and learn from one another. This month being Black History Month, we have school tours coming through every single day, including days we're not open. Our staff has been busy doing all of that, and I say this because there is the audience there. There is the desire there for folks to learn these stories, to learn the stories of their ancestors, and I wanted to just bring that forward very quickly here at the very beginning of this. Because the possibilities are there for the turtle. We've heard from everybody tonight and previously, and probably in many conversations that you all have had with community members yourselves as well. And there is a desire for the future of the turtle. There's ideas, there's real concrete, solid ideas that are turning into plans, as others have shared here tonight, about how we can look to the historic tax credits and other funding revenues in terms of grants. All of those are possibilities. And there's a lot of things that we can look at logistically to make that happen. It starts right here in supporting the local landmark designation as that first step. I've also seen in these last few weeks, listening in to many conversations that I've been very lucky to have been a part of from our Native community members, and just hearing their stories, their memories, their perspectives, and very, very importantly, their desires and their ideas, and being able to be in a place where we can support that in any way is where we're coming from my team, from the Heritage Center, and also from the Niagara Falls National Heritage Area. We represent and work with partners throughout this entire region, along from Niagara Falls, Lewiston, Youngstown. We also operate the Discover Niagara Shuttle, and all of that is connectivity. We put the stories of our history here first and foremost. We work with our community to tell those stories, and that looks very different on many different projects. And those possibilities exist here for the turtle too. The cultural landscape here in Niagara Falls is beautiful. It's incredible. These stories we deserve to tell, to share with our children, our future generations, the public, the many people who come here to learn about who we are, what we've done and what we stand for. And our cultural corridor that is here already and now coming to life through a lot of the things that are happening. And I say that also because the park space, the Niagara Falls State Park space, it's the Cataract House Hotel Park right across from the Turtle and the Red Coach, that in just a little over a year and a half ago, that was renamed to Cataract House Park to honor and represent the stories of the Underground Railroad that happened in that space. That's a significant action to take to change that name, to bring awareness, recognition, and honor. And that's happening in these spaces here as well. And so when we look at this from a place where people can come together to learn each other's stories, to share, to be a community in this space just right at the falls is a really, really beautiful thing. And there's a lot of moving pieces here. There's a lot of traction, and there's a lot of momentum behind the efforts to local landmark the turtle and to reawaken it and to to bring it into its future and what's coming next. So I'm here to speak in support, and I urge you to support this local landmark designation and hear the voices of everybody in this room tonight. Thanks so much.
Our next speaker is Carl Skopinski.
Good evening, everybody. Carl Skopinski. I live in Williamsville. Most of what I was going to say has been already said tonight, so I don't want to spend time rehashing a lot of it. But the last time I got up here and I spoke and I brought up the turtle was in the eminent domain hearing that this body had. And that was about 8 months ago. And between that time and right now, just listen and see what has been accomplished. Nobody has spoken about the turtle probably in the last 20 years. It's never gotten this much attention. And the good thing is, this is reawakening a community conversation, right? The community needs to be involved. And I think it has been. And in the last, I would say, the last 6 months, an incredible amount of work has started to be done. You can't, everybody says, hey, we need a plan. Where's the plan? Where's the plan? Where's the financials? Where's the money? That building sat for all those years, owned by a billionaire, and nothing happened to it. We're starting out, we have a group of people, I think Cherish mentioned a little bit about my background, being on the board of the Central Terminal. So I have that long history of the path that this needs to go through. But it's not going to happen overnight, right? It's not going to happen by March 6th, I think is the next hearing. It's not going to happen by then. But a local landmark of the building is going to allow us to have that space for planning and be able to get the right people. I come from an economics background. That's my degree is in economics. And it was great. It's great to hear all the cultural stories, and it really connected me to its history. But I'm also looking at what the economics is. You have a city that has over 9 million people come visit it. We're about an hour and a half drive from the 4th largest city in North America, Toronto. This building in the city of Niagara Falls has piles of plans that talk about a cultural district, right? We want to showcase culture. The Tourism Institute came out with a report, and it was also funded by the owner of the building, talked about establishing these cultural institutions to bring more tourism in. For me, it's all about how can we get one person or a family of 4 to stay another half a day, right? Just stay another day. Because that then translates into another hotel room or a couple hotel rooms, more dinners, more drinks, more maybe visiting with other sites within the city. That translates into money for the city. It also translates money for the local economy and the local businesses. And that's an important point. The turtle needs to be viable. It needs to be financially viable, and we need to develop a plan to do that. Putting up a hotel on that property, only the city has enough hotels, and a hotel is a seasonal business. If you're going to have folks work in a hotel, what happens when the tourism goes down in November through, say, May? What do those people do for a living, right? We need more year-round destinations. Our planning group is looking to obtain the 65 architectural drawings for that building. The city engineering department had those drawings at one point, and they are gone. They walked out of the building, and they weren't returned. The code department doesn't have them. The city archives don't have them. The library doesn't have them. I went as far as contacting the original builder of the turtle, the construction company here in Niagara Falls. They don't have a copy either. And we're looking to bring those drawings back here in Niagara Falls. And we hope to be able to give the city a copy, or at least a couple sheets for them to display. You know, I can go on, but I just, more of a question for me is, what is March 6th? Is that just going to be to have a public hearing? Or is that going to be the vote date? Or is it still too early to tell?
Thank you, Mr. Skopinski.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Diane Davin.
Hi, my name is Diane Dunn, and I live at 717 85th Street. I'm a retired nurse. I have lived in Niagara Falls most of my life, having moved away a couple of times, but always coming back to my hometown of LaSalle because I love it here so much, or I used to. The house directly across the street, 718 85th Street, is a rental. In fact, my small street only has 10 houses on it, 3 of them rentals. 2 of them are wonderful neighbors. The house across the street at 718 85th Street is another story. The woman who has rented the house for over a year has been no problem. In January, she let her boyfriend move in. He has a big party bus parked in her 1-car driveway. He has multiple 4-wheelers, at least 2, at least 3 mini bikes, and a go-kart, all illegal on the street. This father and his 3 boys, plus multiple other children, most under the age of 16, race up and down the street, driveway, and lawn, doing donuts and wheelies. They park these illegal bikes on their front lawn, revving them. They store them in the giant bus in the 1-car driveway or the backyard grass, and seem to think it's okay to go on the neighbor's property for street access, putting ruts and destroying her lawn. They have been asked nicely several times, but have no respect for her property or the laws. I have called the police 22 times since January 30th. I have called the landlady 7 times and have been to her house twice, showing her pictures and videos of them destroying her property. She is aware and has done nothing. This past Sunday, they had a little girl, maybe 3 years old, on a go-kart in the street, taking her for a ride. I've also seen the 4-wheeler towing a disc for sledding with kids on it, towing it down the icy street. This past Sunday, my neighbor called police because they were riding the go-kart up and down the street. The police came and finally caught them in the act. They were given a verbal warning, even though the police officer said, because we have it on camera, that he told them, we get calls on this house every single day, but they didn't enforce the law. So they have to catch them, so it's too late now. The minute the police left, they were back on it and encouraged by the father, who was right outside. He started yelling obscenities at my neighbor who lives next door to him. She went out and told him to stop. He was swearing at her and also pointing at my house and gesturing, yelling obscenities about us both. We are not the only ones calling. This is escalating every day. It's affecting my health. I can't eat or sleep, and I'm afraid. I live alone. My friend who lives next door to this guy just lost her husband this year and lives with her daughter. The family on the other side of him put their house up for sale as a direct result of them, they told me. I'm asking that the laws against these illegal bikes be enforced. My rights need to be protected too. We shouldn't have to go to these lengths to get something done. Save the turtle.
Our next speaker is Colin Woodfine.
Hello,
My name is Colin Woodfine. I'm a resident of the city of Niagara Falls. I live on 72nd Street in the Waysale area. I'm a lifelong resident of the city, born and raised, graduate of Niagara Falls High School, and I'm a proud laborer of Laborers Local 91. I come before this council today because I feel like this council needs to address a serious issue in this city that needs to be addressed and hasn't been addressed for a very long time. We have gone 20 years in this city without any economic development done at all since the construction of the casino and its hotel back in the early 2000s. It's now 2024, we're talking 20 years later. Every other municipality and county around us is having a major economic development project being done. Most recently, the Buffalo was awarded the Tesla plant, Syracuse, a $100 billion Micron chip processing plant, Chautauqua, a $42.5 million Cummins engine plant. And then most recently, in the most recent news, the city of Rochester was awarded $1.25 billion for a hydroelectric plant to be built in their city. Why is the city of Niagara Falls not doing something about that when we are the leaders in hydroelectric energy, have been since the 60s before green energy was even a thing? Allegheny County is also building a 94 megawatt power facility in Burt, New York. You're talking about jobs here that are going to domino effect in this city, creating not only jobs in this city for people to be able to upkeep their homes, communities will be revitalized, and community development will be revitalized. The people in this city can no longer afford for the tourist business and the hospitality business to come before the very citizens that have put you guys in this seat before me today. Even farther out in New York State, just today, Senator Charles Schumer awarded a $1.5 billion contract to Global Foundries to build a 358 square foot plant in the city of Parsippany, New York. Now, the reason why, this is a direct quote from the state senator that represents our state. The reason why he picked that specific area was because it is ideal because of all the colleges and universities involving semiconductor research. Like we don't already have that here. Pretty much to sum this all up, the city of Niagara Falls has been in a stalemate for the past 2 decades. The definition of insanity is when you keep repeating the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. It's time for us to break the chain and for us to do something different to try to create jobs, not for tourists, not for hospitality, but actual jobs with real future, real pensions, and real goals for the citizens. For too long in this city, we have watched our mothers, fathers, uncles, brothers, sisters, and cousins work dead-end jobs with no results. For somebody who is a younger generation in this city, it's really nothing for me to pack up and move 2 hours away to another city and I have a whole new life for both me and my family. Do I want to do that? No. But is that an option right now at this point? Yes, because you guys aren't giving us any jobs. Where's our jobs? We need you expect people to sit there, take pride in their homes, take pride in their communities. How can you expect to do that when people right now are barely making ends meet right now at home? You can't expect people to put on a new roof, put on new siding, do things of this nature without being able to create jobs to be able to pay for things of that. If people are barely making ends meet at home, no wonder why they're not going to sit there and care about their community or care about their house. They're barely making their bills. All I'm asking for is for the city to please start getting political, start calling up our local delegates that keep awarding these big contracts to other places besides us. Everybody else around us is getting a piece of the pie and reaping the benefits besides us. Why is that? What did we do to these people in order for them to say, don't build in Niagara Falls at all? Like I said before, the Rochester plant was awarded a $1.25 billion plug plant that it allows them to pretty much build hydrogen-powered fuel cells and combustible engines for cars. If we're worried about where we're going to put this plant or whatever, the DuPont Niagara Falls plant sits pretty much vacant right now. A quarter of that plant is used right now, while pretty much the rest of it sits as a remnant of what this city used to be. There's a pumping plant directly off of that plant that allows them to suck water off of the Niagara River directly into that plant. With that being said, The plant in Rochester has to spend $1.2 million to pull water from the Lake Ontario inside of that plant.
Thank you,
We have it
Colin.
right over, we have it 5 feet from right outside their door. It's time for us to start making a change and start bringing
Thank you,
economic
Colin.
development to the city.
Our next speaker is Diana Henry.
Hello, I'm Diana Henry. I'm a resident of Niagara Falls. I'm here in support of the Niagara Falls shelter that is currently located in Grand Island. I've been bringing both my dogs to Kelly since she opened up in Grand Island. I've used her for boarding my dogs when I go on vacation, and one of my dogs goes there for day school. Kelly has always been professional and helpful with my dogs, and I have seen firsthand the improvements that she's done to that facility since she moved in. The problems that our city has with dogs is no fault of Kelly. She is limited on space, but I know she's actively working to acquire more. Her and I have had many conversations about this since she got the contract with the city. The town of Grand Island has been very welcoming to her, especially because the previous person who was in that facility that ran boarding and stuff was not up to code. Kelly's worked extremely hard to help the stray, abused, and abandoned dogs of Niagara Falls. I know firsthand that she is doing all she can for our dogs. Some of you know, and maybe out here know, that in November, I witnessed a dog get dumped at a park in front of my house. I went out there, I got the dog, it was Friday, probably at 5 o'clock, so really bad timing. I called the non-emergency police number. I was told there's nobody on duty, either keep the dog or let the dog go. I worked tirelessly all weekend to find somewhere for that dog to go so I wouldn't just leave it out on the streets. It turned out that I finally got in touch with Officer Donnie Booth, and working with him, the person that dumped that dog got arrested. Kelly helped me place that dog in a foster with another rescue. I know Kelly has contacts with a lot of the other rescues in this area in Erie County, and she takes some of the dogs that are at her shelter and transfers them to other shelters or to other rescues to get fostered and adopted. As far as not being able to go in there and see the dogs, you can't do that at the Niagara County SPCA either. So I don't find a problem with that, and it just stresses the dogs out, having people walk through and seeing what's back there. And just because she's in Grand Island and not in Niagara County, the Niagara County SPCA was in Sanborn. Kelly's shelter is closer to the city of Niagara Falls than Sanborn is. I have no problems with our dogs being brought there. The problem is there's an overabundance of unlicensed dogs in the city that people just don't want and they dump, like what I witnessed. It was heartbreaking what I witnessed, that poor dog and how scared she was. And she actually had puppies right before that, and through working with other people that I know, we were able to rescue the puppies and brought them to Kelly's shelter, and she went and got them all treated because none of them had any shots or anything. So I'm in full support of Kelly and the pit chick and have absolutely no problems with bringing my own dogs there when I'm out of town, trusting that they're in good hands, and she takes very well care of them. Thank you.
Next speaker, Mikhail Howard. Did I say your name correctly?
Greetings, everyone. My name is Mikhail Howard. I live at 3031 17th Street. I am a junior at Niagara Falls High School. I stand before you tonight with more than 1,000 signatures on a petition and supporting letters from organizations and churches requesting this administration have the Quailers Engineering and Consulting Design firm complete the current phase of the Beach Avenue Park Master Plan, which will continue as a working document. The petition is also to finalize the initial construction documents and sign a contract for the purpose of moving forward with the development of the Beach Avenue Park. On behalf of my community, residents of Niagara Falls, and the students of the city of Niagara Falls in all grade levels, we are looking forward to seeing the breaking of Beach Avenue Park in the year of 2024. Thank you to Mr. Laurie, Superintendent of the Niagara Falls School System, our teachers, and Ms. Jackson for letting us know the importance of getting involved in our community. Today I have a voice. Very soon many of us will have a vote. I present you with the copies of the petition and letters. We look forward to participating in the continued development of the Beach Avenue Park. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mark Marino. You did, okay. Our next speaker is Emily Harrison. Okay, I got you twice, okay. Our next speaker, Wanda Wilson.
Good evening. I'm Wanda Wilson. My father, Duffy Wilson, was the founder of the Turtle. And all of my life, I seen him work hard for this city and getting the grant money like dropped in his lap. He was not an educated man. He quit at 8th grade to feed his family and help his mother and father. And when the opportunity came to get the funding for the Turtle, we almost put it in Lewiston. We almost took it to Art Park to build the Turtle at Art Park with Joanne Allison 50 years ago, 40 years ago. So this city has a gift because I have traveled way from Alberta to Newfoundland. I have traveled all of the United States. I'm very, very fortunate. I've traveled to Mexico 101 times, supporting indigenous people from the top to the bottom of North America. The Miccosukis in Florida, rich, all the different casinos across the country. And right here, you have the Seneca Casino. I sit at the park, down at New York State Park, and I sell my beadwork and my jewelry. And people come and they, what happened to the Turtle? We come to see the Turtle. What is that beautiful building just sitting there doing nothing? And some of our richest members of the Haudenosaunee, the Six Nations, our very wealthiest men, millionaires, more money than this whole room put together, offered to revitalize the Turtle, to buy it, to keep it going, to get the programs going again. And they were given a price of $50 million, $100 million to buy it, because all of them are millionaires. Quite frankly, they could be billionaires. And so there's possibilities for the Turtle to get funding if you keep it. We don't need more hotels that you can't even fill. I can get a room any single night at Seneca Niagara. Every single night there's empty rooms in such a beautiful hotel. You want to build another one? You know, and all of the money that has been generated, all these young kids speaking from the schools, the Turtle started that. National Indian Education Association, national. And we brought programs to Niagara Falls, every school, every single school. Buffalo, School 19. All of these come from the Indian education coming to Niagara Falls and honoring the Turtle. Dennis Sunroads, Minneapolis, he came, one of our Indian architects, to build the Turtle. I have got some of those drawings. I've been going through all my mom and dad's papers, and I could talk for 55 minutes. I got 1 minute left. And this is not fair, I don't think. I don't think it's fair to give me 30 more seconds to try to convince you, because what you got here is something of beauty. You sit in the eyes of the turtle, and you can overlook and you can see that water. Beautiful restaurant. We would serve 1,200 people in one banquet, in one sitting. That's what the turtle is capable of. 1,200, because I waited on those people. And there is so much opportunity, the artists, the crafts, the maintenance, people that learn how to run the generators and the heaters and the water and the pipelines and everything that is with the turtle. You look up in the turtle and there's a big eagle in there. And when the sun shines, that eagle is on the floor. I don't think any of you understand the beauty that's in that building. And still there. Art galleries, craft shops, schools, all these different kids come from all over. And when I sit at the park, people are like, where's the turtle? Where's the Native Americans? Are you the only one making beadwork? Are you the only one doing this? Are you the only one sitting here? So that's how important the turtle is. Don't destroy it. Don't sell it. And we do have the people that can put the money in to revive it and make it as beautiful as it once was. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Dan Malthy. Dan?
Good evening. My name's Dan Maltby. I'm the City of Tonawanda DCO. I currently have my contract at the Pit Chick. I've also been an animal cruelty investigator for Niagara County. And I first met Kelly 4 years ago, and she is always willing to help me out. Recently, my holding facility canceled my contract, so I asked Kelly if she would consider taking us in. I don't have much money. I don't have the money to cover medical bills for the dog she's going to be holding for me, and she said it's about the animals. She took us in. I have 24-hour access to her building, unexpected, for when I bring dogs in and out. I've never seen any issues. I've never seen anybody really care for the animals as she does. I've also had incidents in the city where people have dogs with behavioral problems, and they'll ask me what they can do. I tell them off the record if they want to go see her, and I've never gotten a bad complaint about any of them. So I just want to see the allegations against Kelly. I don't see them personally. Y'all have a great day. And wake the turtle.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Tanya Barone.
Good evening. We're here to go over the same song and dance we have the last two meetings. I'm going to change redirections over the things that I've wrote tonight to speak, since I've heard from the few speakers tonight in regards to the pit check. I'm going to read some firsthand comments from people that are trying to demean my character for asking questions. They all kind of jumped on the bandwagon. They showed up here tonight, told me that they were going to blow me up. Okay? So let me, just bear with me so I can read some of the messages. Two of them are from a well-known dog trapping group. I won't say the name. They're here tonight. I won't be intimidated. I'm going to still speak, because I was warned before I started speaking at city council meetings 2 meetings ago that I should just not go. People are going to destroy you. I said, who is going to destroy me for asking questions about our new municipal shelter? What do you mean they? I'm finding out now who they are. So, let's start here. You know what? I'm not even going to entertain you because you're full of You purposely went on the attack of Kelly because you want your friend, Janine, to run that SPCA. If you claim you do fact check, then you would know all the answers to your questions. It took me 1 minute to find out where that dog was that was bitten, had its ear half bit off at the shelter. And your story about a dog biting a dog that was listed as friendly is completely discredited, as the dog was at home and still the owners owe Kelly $1,500 because she took the dog under the vet care. So just stop with your slander and stop with your BS. I know people like you. I've dealt with people like you my whole life in rescue. You're not worth my time or Kelly's time, but mark my words, we will be there in full force. Okay? That's all I have to say about the people that are here. I know people like you. I've dealt with people like you my whole life in rescue. You're not worth my time or Kelly's time, but mark my words, we will be there in full force at the next council meeting, and I hope to God Kelly gets a freaking lawyer and sues the out of you, because all you're doing is slandering her. You have no idea what goes on in that shelter. It's a private municipal shelter. Well, guess what? The more I ask questions, the more people attack me. I've even been accused of sleeping with Dave Bauer, the old animal control officer, and I'll say it right here. He's not my type, and I'm married. And if they want to say I'm sleeping with Donnie Booth, who's the animal control officer now, he's not my type either, and I'm married. But just in case the rumors fly, because this is what I'm being told. People are childish. I ask questions about anyone's experiences at the shelter. I ask time frames, and then all these people jump on the bandwagon. Go drink your wine, you're a keyboard warrior. They're all running to her defense. But the dog that was bitten, his name was Bruce, and he was a Niagara Falls dog eating out of a trash can on Pine Avenue. August 18th, you can go on her Facebook, Kelly's Facebook page for the municipal shelter, and see that he was not in his own home when he was bitten. Fact proven. Kelly even put him on her Facebook several times. This dog did not receive medical care promptly. His ear was bleeding still the second day, and I have a picture of it. It's disgusting. Okay, he was attacked by another dog there. And I know accidents happen, but I want to clear my name because I'm being attacked, and I still showed up tonight to say there is something going on at that shelter when she won't let Dan, the councilman from Grand Island who wanted to see what was going on there, she wouldn't let him in. She locked the door and would not let him in. And a former councilman from this chamber was not allowed in to look either. Okay? If you aren't on the Kelly crew, you are not allowed in there. She used to let people in. My friends were donating to her, and when they questioned, who are we donating to? What is this Rescue Buffalo? Who owns that? Where did that name come from? Where are our donations going? Are they going to the municipal dogs like we want them to, or Rescue Buffalo? She blocked them. Then the next day she blocked me because I was friends with them. This has spiraled into a very messy, nasty situation.
Thank you, Ms. Barone. Thank you.
Hope you guys figure it out.
Our next speaker, Janine Gallo.
Hello, my name is Janine Gallo. Post the RFP, please. Post the job. I'm going to skip a lot of my speech because of things that were said. Ms. Barone just spoke about the dog, Bruce. Kelly does have videotape 24/7 inside and outside of her building. You have the right to see that. You pay her $20,000 a month. You have the right to see that anytime you want. To discredit anybody's accusations as of Bruce. I was slandered all weekend by these ladies here from something Bones, I don't know. They're all from Grand Island, the three ladies. Slandering me and accusing me. Anything I say at this podium, I have facts, I have proof, In some incidents, I have videos myself, photos, and documentations of people that work there and saw firsthand. And we'll start with Bruce, just because Bruce has been brought up. Bruce was brought to my store at a fundraiser event 2 days or 3 days after he was picked up off the street from her own Facebook. Tells you he was walking down the street, and from what I heard, a boy gave him to Officer Booth and brought to the shelter. 2 days later, he was at my fundraiser. A very cute, nice dog. He was a puppy. Spent the whole day there. A couple days later, Bruce was taken from your shelter that you pay $20,000 a month for. He has to be taken out a door, in a door, through 2 suites to go outside to go to the bathroom. During that time, one of the rescue buffalo dogs named Tyson, they got in an altercation. It's not the end of the world. It happens, okay? He shouldn't have been in another suite, but he was. Tyson bit him, took his ear, chunk out of his ear. Kelly was not there. An employee was there and tried to fix the ear. The next day, that employee went back on her own to bathe that dog, take all the blood that was still bleeding from the dog's ear to fix the dog ear. That dog was never brought to a vet. That dog was never documented of even getting in a fight. And call me crazy, but Officer Booth adopted the dog later on in December or so. But the dog wasn't home. Kelly isn't the hero with the ring around her head, above her head, of paying $1,500 for the dog's medical needs. Did not happen. Just wanted to get that out there. Right now I'm here is a lot of deflecting from the issue of the dogs. I have been coming here since December to talk about the concerns of the Niagara Falls dogs. And here we are in February. You are still deflecting from all the issues from your current vendor and her failures to uphold her contract. Everything I have said here over the last few months, Officer Booth running around fixing every issue that I bring up so that he can tell the people that things are in order. An example was Bruce. Officer Booth is always at the end of every sentence. Kelly came around the back door without an RFP posted because Booth, is rumored, gave her Niagara Falls contract to look at to make up her own contract, which is even higher than the SPCA of Niagara County. You are beginning to see a pattern here, really easy. Other examples, the holiday weekends where you should be spending time with your families and your pets and your kids. These ladies with other people were on Grand Island Lost and Found, slandering anybody, they threaten anybody that dares ask the question, including myself, about the pit chick. You are crucified. They're threatening you. I played you the sheriff threatening me. What is going on? This is Erie County you're giving your money to. This is Niagara County. Niagara County. They don't have a right to tell you guys what to do with your money and threaten you. And she has her own personal attorney here last meeting to showing the contract he wrote of all the things she doesn't have to do for $20,000 a month. And I know I'm off task, but come on! RFP! Post it!
Our next speaker is Nicole Dyer.
I'm Nicole Dyer from Kenmore. During the last council meeting, Mr. DuBois was out of line when he decided to address the gallery. And in doing so, a point of order was given, and Mr. DuBois continued his speech disregarding the council's right to bring back order. So now that you've addressed the people, you want to compare apples to apples when it comes to Ags and Markets inspection reports? Okay. The SPCA in the last 14 years, let me repeat myself, 14 years. 9 out of those 30 inspections were unsatisfactory. However, 3 of those unsatisfactory inspections were based on nothing more than a written contract or lease with the municipality. The city of Niagara Falls, you were responsible for 2 of them. You, the city, did not have a written contract with the SPCA, so those unsatisfactory inspections were on you. Now you want to compare the Pit Chick, who has only been open since September of 2023. Simple math, 5 months. And out of those 5 months, she's had 4 inspections, 2 unsatisfactory. You somehow want to call this a success. Her score is still 50%, it's still failing. So you are comparing 14 years of inspections versus 5 months. The Ags and Market inspections are not based on animal cruelty or neglect. They are based only on the physical housing operational needs of the shelter, medical files, and documentation. It does not find fault with animals being left in their kennels without exercise for hours. It does not find fault in the hiring of inadequately trained staff members, and it does not find fault with misrepresenting yourself or the lack of credentials you may or may not have. You have been hearing from individuals since December 2023 who are merely stating their concerns with the Niagara Falls Animal Shelter, which is located in Niagara County. They are concerned that the location, which is about 2,000 square foot and can only house safely 13 kennels, when in her contract she gets paid for 17 and up to 45. So where does she go with those other 32 kennels and dogs? Individuals are also concerned that the Niagara Falls animals are in a storefront. As taxpayers, you should be concerned that you're paying and supporting an Erie County business. You should also be concerned that the $20,000 a month you're paying her, it doesn't benefit the city of Niagara Falls. The city claims this location is temporary. Their plan is to erect their own municipal shelter right inside Hyde Park at the end of 2024. As a taxpayer, why would you want the possibility of dangerous dogs being housed in a park where your children run and play? There's a golf course, and it's near the Hyde Park Elementary School. A response from a Niagara Falls official was, well, we'll just build a fence around it. Who's to say that that child walking by would see a dog, insert their arm through the fence, and have it bitten? There are so many concerns for the city and the taxpayers. And in the September article of the Niagara Gazette, Councilperson Bax stated that she would rather do or purchase anything but build a city-owned and operated shelter. The city of Niagara Falls did not do their due diligence when it came to their current vendor. The city led you, the council, and the taxpayers to believe that she was the only choice. Yes, in fact, she was, simply because the RFP was never posted. Again, without posting, how is one to find out that there was this opportunity unless someone on the inside is benefiting from this transaction? The question is who? And you, the taxpayers, should be demanding answers. Our mission has not staggered since day one, which is all about the dogs. The current vendor for the last 5 months has failed to uphold more than one portion of her contract, and the city seems to be just fine with it. One city official who wrote the contract also stated that she is the vendor and does not have to comply with certain areas of the contract. So you, again, the taxpayer, must ask, why is the city still allowing her to operate the municipal shelter? Who is benefiting here? Because I can tell you it's not you, the taxpayer, or the dogs of Niagara Falls.
Thank you. That is our last speaker for the evening.